Our goal, like, everybody wants to say, like, oh, our goal is to recruit. I fundamentally disagree that our goal is to recruit. All right, our fundamental goal is to engage with people, let them know what's going on, and I think that the idea speaks for itself. I really do. I really do. I think that just the battle we're fighting is getting people to be aware of what's going on. Right? Most people have not heard of Americans Left. Would you guys agree?
Yes.
It was about a month ago that I was in New York and I was walking on the street and I heard a guy mention it to his friend, and I was like, oh my God, that was so cool. But that should have happened a year ago for us.
Sure.
Yes. So the idea is that so your goal is to not necessarily. I don't want you guys to think of this as a recruitment. I want because that's just not for me. I want us to talk about engagement and spreading the word, because I think the idea sells itself. And most importantly, this is another area where I think this is really where we can be really powerful. Starting next week, the candidate site rolls out. We're going to see draft committees. We're going to see candidates come. We're going to see a flood of new delegates. All right. Tuesday is the day I was told. All right. So we're going to see a flood of new delegates, and I think it's really critical that we as a group can support that traffic. We can support. They're going to come in with the same questions you guys have had. You know. So I think one of our goals here is to come out knowing how we can support that, and a lot of that is on us. To network everybody, to get a good flow of communication down to you guys, to make sure you know, yes, have a ballot access report so you can tell new people this is where we're at. That's really, so these are the things I want to spend really at least, the next hour and a half here in groups, brainstorming these very specific things, and what we're going to do today, when we end here, is we want everybody to come up with just one simple action item that they can do on Monday. Okay, and the only rule is going to be you can't say something that somebody else already said. Does that make sense? Pretty simple, all right? So we can get a pretty good list going, all right? And what's really good about this is that everybody's different in this room, right? We have introverts, we have extroverts, we have computer guys, we have non-computer folks, we have people with all these different backgrounds. That's what we learned yesterday, right? So getting into the ideas about how we can be actionable. I mean, there's some people, it's the platinum rule that Jake talked about, right? If I go to you and I say, Montana, I need you to get active on social media and tweet every day about Americans. Look, you might sit there and say, but I don't tweet. So that's done you no good. But if I go find somebody, Chris, who does tweet, say that's a whole different ballgame. So a lot of this is again us brainstorming enough opportunities and ideas for outreach that everybody in this room can find effective ways, tools that they feel like they're supported to go out there and help engage with folks. Does that sound good to everybody? Yep. All right. Andrew has a couple housekeeping items, and then we're going to break up into groups, and we're going to hit this hard this morning. Thanks, guys.
Great. Thanks, Tom.
All right,
checkout is at 1. If you haven't checked out already, they gave us a little bit of a late checkout. So the thing is that your keys are going to stop working at 12. So before you head on back up to your room, stop at the front desk and get another key. Also, if you drove down here, make sure that when you complete your expense form, you go to the business center and print out a MapQuest route.
Or Google Maps. Every time you said MapQuest, everyone's like, I hate MapQuest. Whatever map company you want to use.
Yeah, exactly. So they're free in there, so just go ahead and print it. They're PCs though, so if you're using Mac, it might be a little frustrating. It was for me. Also, make sure if you didn't yesterday to get that. And the last thing is we have worked out the transportation schedule. Some people aren't here, so if I don't find them by the time we have to leave, then I guess they're out of luck. But so one group has already left. If you are leaving between the time of 3:59 and 6:20, we will be taking you either in the van or in my own car. And if you are leaving after that, we've already taken care of you, and you guys know what you're doing. Yeah.
I talked to the front desk. They said 1:30 was the checkout.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So whenever you can, but you will still need to get another key card. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Thanks, Paul. Yeah.
So you said 3:59. How long does it usually take to get to the airport?
If you are leaving between 3:59 and 6:20, we need to meet in the lobby at 1:30.
Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah. So if your departure time is 15 minutes. So that's most of you. I'll go over. Brad Alvarez, John Frescoe, Dan Martin, Bill Johnson, Mark Higgins, Steve Brown, Corey, Don, Jim, Bob, Chris, Benjamin, Zachary, Brandon, and Dan.
Yeah, it's about 40 minutes to the airport. So
Okay.
Yeah. I have Prius. So. All right. Thanks, guys. Everyone.
Like I said, we're gonna break out into the groups we were in yesterday because I think it worked. We got everybody's names and it makes sense from a regional standpoint. We'll reconvene before we leave today, but I think it's just a little bit more manageable, so it's easier for us to all talk in groups. One last thing, because I meant to mention this, I'm very sorry. We'll talk about this again in larger groups. One of the big things of my job, unfortunately, is doing like press interviews and talking to newspaper articles and stuff like that. So that's another thing I want us to think about in the back of our minds for brainstorming. So every time I talk to them, they're very uninterested in what I have to say. I mean, they know about American Select, they're interested. You know what they really want to hear? They really want to hear from folks who are local in the cities they report in, who are involved in American Select, and why they're there. That's like 100% that's what they want to hear. So that's another area where you can be really helpful in the sense that if you're willing to share your story with a reporter, they want to hear it so bad. And that's an element where one of the beautiful things is when I'm giving an interview, I can be wrong, right? Like I can say something that they say is wrong or they disagree with. You guys can never be wrong. Like, you're here for your own personal story. That's your personal story. No, but you can't argue with fact, with experience. You can argue with statistics, but you can't argue with a guy saying, "I'm here because I'm fed up with the system." With somebody going to say like, "No, you're not." You're not. So that's just something as we go and break up in these groups. Please think about that because it might generate some questions about about the process, about how you get in touch with media, etc. All right. So I'm sorry I meant to mention that earlier. So all right, guys, let's do it.